everyone, it's Misty here from the Joyful Elf. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know this is a day I don't normally post, but I wanted to share with you a project I made for TLC Designs featuring several new items from their newest release. So they have a new release that goes on, live today. There are several dies that are available, and there is a photopolymer stamp set that's available. And then they have a set of digital images and papers that are, available. And one of the releases is a digital stamp for Halloween. You guys know me, I don't normally do a whole lot of Halloween cards. So I thought instead of doing a card, I got this idea to do a shadow box. And I never done one before. And a shadow box is just like a frame where you can put 3D stuff in it rather than just being a flat picture. So, oh my word, you guys, this may be the cutest thing I have ever created in my life. I love it so, so much. So we're going to start at my computer and I'm going to share with you how I did this in the Silhouette software. I did end up cutting these out in the Silhouette software. So I went ahead and did it in that. Roxy. And then we'll head over to the craft table and I will share with you how I colored it and how I put it all together. So yeah, so you can see two different pictures. The first is with confetti, but I really wanted to put in candy corn and the little pumpkin candies. So you're also gonna see a picture with that. So yeah, so let me know what you think of this project. Is this something you guys would be interested in buying? Because I had so much fun doing it. I can see me doing more of these in the future. If you would be interested, let me know. If not, that's cool too. So, okay, enough jibber jabber. I'm gonna walk you through release, walk you through how I did it on the computer, and then I'm gonna show you the finished product. So let's head over to my craft table and we'll get started. And for the newest release that's going live today, there are 3 new dies. This one is the Rosy Sentiment. So you have hello, smile, you've got some flowers, and then you've got 3 different backgrounds. Just like that. We have the Slimline Multi-Slider. So this is a slider die, and if you've never made slider cards, they are so fun. We are definitely going to be doing that. So you get one that goes mostly around the whole entire card, you get one that's like half the card, you get one that's just a little bit, and you don't only have to use these for slimline cards, you can use these on A2 size cards. So you get this background with the leaves, you get this kind of frame in the middle. So yeah. And then this one is the Xenia Slimline. So it has IU, then you've got flowers, and you've got 3 different panels. And then along with that, I'm gonna flash up pictures. There is one polymer stamp this release, and it's called La Katrina, and it is a Day of the Dead stamp. And she is so pretty. And then we have the Creeping It Real digital stamps. If you missed it, I posted a video on Friday using the digital stamps to create a Halloween decoration that will fit on, a table or something like that. And then I also used the, no I didn't. There's also the Slimline paper pack for the Creeping It Real. All right, friends, I am in the Silhouette software and I am drawing a rectangle that measures 8 by 10. I'm turning off the cut border and I'm turning off the registration marks just so I can see how I want to do the background. So this is what everything is going to be adhered to. At first, I played around with some of the patterns from the Creeping It Real, but I couldn't decide on one. So I went ahead and left it and then brought in this cut file that I purchased. It's Boo Y'all. I figured this would be perfect for me because you guys know I say y'all a lot. And I thought it was just kind of cute and funny. So I'm gonna play around with placement. I'm gonna bring in the Dracula image and the Frankie image. Are they not the most adorable thing you've ever seen in your life? So with the little Drakey or Dracula, I'm going to go ahead and mirror him in a minute. But first I'm going to go ahead and move around the sentiment. I play with this a ton. This is sped up 4 times as much, I think. So I considered bringing in this boo, and I was like, no, I didn't like it. So I brought in a cut file that is a Halloween border, and I decided to make it larger and then cut it off because I really wanted them to be trick-or-treating in front of a scary house. I just thought that would be so much fun. So I have my opacity turned down for some reason. That's why you see them all look like they're clear. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the background, and I'm playing around with the sentiment. The sentiment, initially I was just going to print it on top of the house, but I decided to go ahead and cut it out. So again, I'm just playing around with it. This is really just trying to set the scene, trying to decide what I want, etc. So I used the Creeping It Real digital stamp set, and I also used the Jackal Gnome, which is a free one on the TLC website. And then they had these cute little bats, and I thought, yeah, I want those cute little bats. So again, just playing around with it. I will have all of the supplies linked in the description box down below. There is a Instagram hop today, so I'll try to remember to link that as well. Okay, so I decided I wanted the windows to be yellow. So I've literally just drawn a rectangle, and then I'm going to draw a circle and put those behind the haunted house. That way they have yellow windows. And I mirrored Dracula. That way I could have him on the right and have Frankie on the left. I just like the way that looked better. And again, I'm just playing with the sentiment, trying to figure out where I wanted it, try to get them sized. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to use for paper? And I went back and forth, and then I remembered the watercolor paper. I was like, there has to be one that looks like night. And I picked this kind of magenta purpley one, and I thought it was perfect. And then I drew a rectangle underneath it, kind of to make my horizon line. And I used the bright green watercolor paper. And I love this so much. So just playing around with it, trying to decide where I want things to go, just playing around with it. Really, that's really all you have to do. So I decided I wanted the moon to be gray. That way I could add some shading and dimension to it later when I got ready to print. So I am grouping all of these together, and that way they move as one piece. And like I said, I initially thought that I was just going to print the sentiment on top, and that's why I kept playing with a color. So I have never played with vinyl. Like, vinyl has always intimidated me. But I really think this one, you could have used vinyl, you know, cut the booyah out of vinyl. I end up just cutting it out as is and foiling it, and I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, if you're not intimidated by vinyl, I'm so happy that you're not, but it still intimidates me to no end. I need to just bite the bullet and do it. I mean, seriously, Misty, just do it. But I can't. Okay, so this background is kind of hanging off both sides, and I'm okay with that because I know once it's printed, it'll cut off and I will be able to cut it out how I want to. But for right now, I wanted to go ahead and keep it like this. So like I said, I decided to go ahead and cut the booyah out. So I will create a new file, make sure that I do cut lines, etc. And then I decide that I want to go ahead and cut out the bats as well. So I put those to the side. So if you're cutting, this is a print and cut. You're going to want to make sure that you put on your registration marks. You're going to want to make sure that you have your cut border, your print border, and then you can just kind of resize your images. So here I had to like ungroup so it wouldn't cut the eyeballs out, regroup, you know, turn them white. Like sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, but at the end of the day, it's just a couple of minutes and it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to go ahead and trace and detach. That way I can do an, what is that called? It literally just said my brain. A border on the outside. I don't remember what's called. I just lost my train of thought. Oh my word. So I am playing around with the size of my images so I can fit them all on one piece of paper. I resize them just a little bit, move them around, just however you want to do it. And again, this is something that you could make many of, or you could color them after you cut them out and then scan them and make multiple of these if you want to. There's really no limit to what you do with these. You can even color these, scan these, and put them on a t-shirt. So yeah, that's what I did. Just kind of I'm doing a maneuver, just maneuvering them around, trying to get all of my characters to fit. I wanted 2 of each because, as you guys know, I sometimes make mistakes, and you'll see that in just a minute when we get to coloring. So yeah, I'm gonna move them around. That way I can get them where they need to be, and we can get everything printed and cut out. I did 6 bats, but I ended up using 5. We're high tech, y'all. Okay, so this is how I'll foil. This is just a laminator that I got off Amazon. Any cheap laminator will do. Oh, look, it's right. So since I have a laser printer, I can just add the foil to or add whatever I'm going to foil to the back of the foil. I like to use a sheet like this so I don't get toner everywhere. And I'm just gonna run this through. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. And again, any laminator will do. If you don't have a toner, there's another way to do it. I'm not exactly sure, but if you YouTube it, I'm sure you'll find something that will help. So you just send it through. This is Gina K Designs foil, by the way. It's very sparkly. And then you just pull it up. And there is the glitter. I'm actually going to foil 2, and just in case I mess one up. So this is what it looks like once it's all printed out. We're going to be adding the bats and stuff later, but we're going to start with the Copic coloring. I will put a timestamp on the screen. That way you can fast forward if you don't want to watch me color. You saw me throw on a YouTube video. That's what I normally do. I just put on some YouTube videos and sit back and color. Here I am picking out their skin tones first. Of course, I'm going to do Frankenstein in green, and then I decide to do the Dracula in purple. So in just a minute, I will share with you all of the colors so you can go ahead and stop, press pause, and then we can keep going with the coloring. So here is a look at all of the colors that I used. So we're gonna start with Frankie. On the right-hand side, oh no, I cut it out. So this is the second time I've colored him. The first time I added red to his cheeks to give him a bit of a blush, and I hated it. So I decided to go ahead and recolor him. So I always start darkest to lightest. It really is dependent upon how you like to color. That's just how I like to color myself. I like to put in the darkest shadows first and then move my way to the lightest and then work my way back. So I added some lines to kind of make it look like he has a nose. And then again, I just went around his hairline with the darkest color and then colored with the lightest. This is the cute, oh my gosh. Halloween is not my favorite, but these two are probably some of my favorite Halloween images I've ever seen. I mean, they are so stinking adorable. Love, love, love. So I did his face, and then I moved on to his hands. I kind of did these two in tandem. I'd spend some time on him, then I'd spend some time on Dracula, and then we would bounce back and forth. So here I am choosing the grays for his hair. I went ahead and went with 4, and I'm just flicking it in, kind of making where his side part is, going in from the back and the front with the darkest color, and then I will just make my way through each of them. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just flicking back and forth. I don't like to leave the highlights bright white, because to me it doesn't look like hair, it looks like metal. And while this is Frankenstein, it's not actually Frankenstein. I guess it's Frankenstein's monster, but this is, you know, a kid in a costume. I think it's a kid in a costume. You guys will have to let me know what you think. So I'm moving on to Dracula, and I am starting at his hairline with the darkest, and then making my way to the lightest, and then I'm going to start on the other side and come in with the darkest. So leaving kind of the middle of his hair, the highlighted part. And you could really color this any way that you wanted to. I just like leaving the middle with the highlights. And now I'm gonna darken it up because, like I said, I like to go back in with the darkest color. Okay, so I decided on purple for his skin tone. Initially, I was gonna use like a light gray, and I was like, no, let's play around with purples. So I am starting with the darkest color around his hairline, under his eyes, under his mouth, under his eyebrows, in the inside of his ear. And I'm working my way from darkest to lightest, again, per usual. I really, really loved how his skin turned out. I was really, really proud of this. And again, you know, he's a kid. For me, he was a kid in a costume. So I just thought the purple really brought out just the like costume effect of it. Then for the cape, I'm starting with a dark red, moving to a mid-tone red, and then going to a lighter red. I believe I used 89 instead of 59. Normally when I do reds, I start with 59, but I wanted something a little bit darker, and I wanted the inside of his cape to definitely be red. And then on the outside of the cape, I went ahead and brought in some deeper purples. And I'm just coloring darkest to lightest as I normally do. For the pumpkin, I'm using 3 different colors. Again, darkest to lightest. Initially, I was leaving the top really light, but then I decided that I wanted to bring in some of that darkness from the top and kind of have the middle be the highlight. So you see me doing that there. These jack-o'-lanterns are so cute. I should have done one blue. I should have done one blue. I didn't even think about it. So I used that blue to color Frankie's eyes, and now we're going to color the pants. I'm using some toner grays. So underneath his shirt, in his crotch area, and down the inside of both legs is where it would be darker to me. So then I went out to the lightest. I decided to give him some Converse. So I brought in, I think this is just 100, and added a bit more shading, and then colored the black part of his shoes. And then Frankie, I feel like, is wearing a tuxedo jacket. So using the same toner grays as I used on the pants, I am coloring his jacket. Again, to me, it kind of reminds me of tuxedo without a bow tie, or a suit jacket that they found at the thrift store or something like that, because of all the patches. So I think it's so cute. Your question of the day is, what's the most creative costume you've ever seen? When I was in high school, we did a band carnival at the mall one time, and a kid and his dad walked up and he said, he had put black around the eye and he was wearing a P on his t-shirt, and he was like, "Can you guess what I am?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, I'm a black-eyed pea." And I just laughed and laughed and laughed. He was so cute. Okay, so I was using the lighter color so I could color his shirt a lighter color, and it pulled the red onto his shirt. And I was like, gosh darn it, Misty. So I went ahead and colored his shirt red. It's not a color I would have colored it, because I already colored the inside of his cape red. But again, I screwed up using that lighter color to pull, and it pulled it in accidentally. So yeah. So for Frankie's boots, I wanted are they Carhartt boots? I don't know, but the brown kind of work boots, that's what I had for the idea for those. And then just some blue jeans on his legs. And again, just darkest to lightest, that's how I like to color. That's how I like to do it. For the candy in their buckets, I just brought in a couple of neons. So I brought in a pink neon, one of the vibrant purple neons, and then I brought in an aqua. So I dotted the first two and then kind of colored in the suckers with the aqua to give it a bit of dimension. Okay. So I'm going to bring in the background, and I'm using a darker gray to add in the craters on the moon. There's better ways to do this. Like, there are some really talented people who put a lot of effort into their moons. But for me, this is in the background, and I didn't want it to be a huge focus, but I also didn't want it to look unfinished. So that is it for coloring, and now we're going to move on to assembly. So this is just a frame I picked up on Amazon. I will have it linked in the description box down below. It's not an affiliate link because I don't do those, but it shows you how you can do it. So I've got glass, we've got this thing, and then we have the frame. So the glass went in first, and then I decided I needed to cut out my background. So I just laid the frame part on my background paper, kind of centered it, and then I used a pencil to trace it so I could cut it out. So I just cut around the lines. So I am using some adhesive just to kind of place it so I could get everything adhered. This ends up not staying, and that was fine, because again, I was really just trying to have it sit so I could get stuff adhered. So I'm going to start with my words and my bats. So the bats, I was just put a dimensional behind every single one of them, and I was able to leave those whole. For the words, some of them I was able to leave whole, but some of them I had to cut in half. So I'm just bringing everything in so I can get placement. I'm going to start with placing the bats. I ended up using 5 bats. Again, I like odd numbers, so I didn't want a 6th one. And then here you see me using the bigger ones where it is. And then I got that adhered. And then we're going to go ahead and get the y'all adhered. And then I'm going to find the apostrophe and get that adhered as well. Once that's done, I'm going to bring in the Scotch mounting foam. And we're going to go ahead and use that to adhere the 2 images. I used a lot of adhesive. I almost always use a lot of adhesive because I don't want either of these to go anywhere. So you can use as little as you want to, but I don't like to be stingy with adhesive. So I go ahead and get those placed just a little bit above the very bottom, because I want to be able to see their legs when we put this in the frame. So I went ahead and washed the like wipe down the frame because it was pretty dirty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the glass in the bottom, and then I put the kind of frame on the middle, and then I'm putting in the confetti, and then we're gonna get this adhered or inside. And that's it. So here's a look at it in real time. I was so excited. Isn't this not the cutest thing you have ever seen in your whole entire life of lives? Like, I've never done anything this cute before, ever. I really, really love this. Like I said, would you guys be interested in me selling something like this? You'll have to let me know. I don't know that I would be able to do a lot of them, but I could probably do, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. So yeah, I'm just tapping down everything, and that's going to be it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you. Everything will be linked in the description box down below. Make sure you go check out the new release, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.